Good morning, everyone. I have decided to open this channel with a very clear purpose, and not it is the one you are used to seeing. Before starting, to show you my Bitcoin operations and how I analyze the market, I want to put the cards on the table. This is not a channel where I am going to promise you a Lamborghini in a year or magic formulas to become millionaires while you sleep. Trading is probably the most difficult way to make money. Easy money. If you are looking for that, this is not your place. Here we are going to be realistic. Trading can be life-changing, yes, but it requires brutal process and perseverance. In fact, I want to be totally transparent with you. The first few years in trading are usually of losses. That is the price of education that the market charges you. My goal with this channel is to help you cut that learning curve and get you to be cost-effective. My style is based on precision. I don't operate for the sake of operating. That is, I look for areas of greater probability. I wait patiently for the price to reach my entry point and execute with discipline. All content on this channel is purely educational and informational in nature. Cryptocurrency trading carries a high risk, and everyone is responsible for their own investments and decisions. I will only show you my way and my methodology. If you're willing to work, to be patient, and to understand that this is a marathon and not it's a sprint, subscribe because we're starting. Let's go to the charts. Let's start looking at Bitcoin's structure on a weekly time frame. As we see, I'm going to make this a little bit broader. We were in a trend structure. Bullish. As you can see, higher highs, higher and higher lows, until finally in the Altenheim, everything that goes up comes down again, and I want you to keep this in mind, boys. Everything that goes up comes down, just as everything that goes down comes up again. What do I mean by this? Here the trend is telling us that it is changing, that is, it is at its maximum, is at a minimum, but they are not as healthy setbacks as the previous ones, for example. You also have to keep in mind that this is weekly. We're going to delete this so there's less noise on the graph, and we're going to start pulling probability, which is what I want you to see in this graph. We're going to pull a FIBO from the previous low to this high. Why not this minimum, guys? Because if you notice, here it's gone back to the previous resistance, and it's creating a support for me. It's to say, this minimum I have broken. We are not interested. We are interested in seeing the areas of greatest probability, that is, the largest order blocks where there is greater liquidity and where the price will go looking for that liquidity. With this FIBO we can see, as I have mentioned, the previous resistance, and it is creating me a support. Let's throw it over here. This is a good support area since, as you can see, it is in a fairly important area. We're going to delete this, and we're going to go down to daily temporality. Today is Sunday, it's April 12th, and on weekends, as we all know, the price doesn't have as many good entries as normally on weekdays since there is no news, and the statistics here change a little bit. If we can see by the market asymmetry, look at this, Bitcoin is a very good pair. For the asymmetry of the small market. I'm going to remove this from here. Notice that the same movements are being repeated. We'd be around here. This is simply a help. It does not mean that the price will exactly same thing and go break down. Personally, I believe that between now and November, a few months from now, the price will rise again to the top, and he's going to do another Altenheim. But I do think that before he goes up there is a little more decline to go, around 55,000 more or less. Although, if the price is supported by these zones, and does not break this low again here, the price, if it consolidates in an uptrend, it can go up directly. But this we have to look at the internal structure of the price, and see if it is confirming us in the temporalities lower the uptrend, or if it is going to give us a small retracement. We know this is a very, very good area to buy, both for spot and for trading. Since the ratio is very high and the SL would be very, very well protected, because we know the areas that Bitcoin is not going to reach. So nothing, we're going to start trading in an hour, so you can notice. Also the market symmetry, if you look closely, if you go from the high to the previous low, moving this from when it goes down until it goes back up, it matches up pretty well. What do I mean by this? that the graph does not have to be repeated again, but here it is telling us possible areas where the price could fall again. The 40,000, for example, is not an area that I like the price to fall, but you must not listen to what you think or want, but what the graph is telling you. In other words, the next important area is 52,000, 55,000, more or less. This is a very, very important area. Then we'd go down here, and if you can notice, market symmetry works correctly. But as I am telling you, this is simply a help. In other words, the same thing does not have to be repeated. It is true that Bitcoin repeats it many times. For example, here we could have taken advantage of the rises quite a bit. First touch, descent. Second touch, third touch, go back down. 7850 goes up again. It is true that it coincides quite a lot, and I advise you to look at this because it can give very, very good entries. Let's go down to an hour to see if we can open any positions. Let's delete this because we already know the area where we are. And we're going to open this up so you can see it a lot better. Obviously now it's bearish, it's going down. It is true that we must be careful because the minimums and maximums are getting higher and higher. But if you notice, this minimum has already been broken, and the next one would be this. So here what I would do is I would pull a FIBO from this low here, up to this maximum. By now I know that the most important areas are 6, one which coincides with the previous resistance, as well as with the 7, 8 of FIBO. Here, to look for a possible sale, what I would do is pull from here to here. For example, this point should always be sought well in the smaller internal structure. Why? Because now it is not a good area to go up for sale since we have a very, very, very bad ratio. You see, it is a negative ratio. This does not serve us. So here I would wait. I would look for it to go back up to at least 0, 5 of FIBO. And here I would already position a sale. That one I hit the previous high, and I could lower it to 7, 8, which is an area of greater probability. That is a fairly good ratio of 1, 2. And for the moment we are going to stop this operation, and we are going to go down to 15 minutes. Let's see what we see in the lower internal structure. Here, as we can see, it is in a very good area. You also have to wait until it is Monday, since there is more volatility during the week, and we can take advantage of it. If you notice, here you can position a good support, and if it maintains and gives me that small setback, here we would take advantage of the sale. It should also be borne in mind that here the internal structure, that is, in 15 minutes we would see if he confirms us. That is, if you do this here, lower minimums as well as lower minimums, lower highs, excuse me. This is where I would look for the sale. Why? Because it is indicating to me the trend in both minor and minor temporality that it is going to go down. That is, it is an 80% probability that this sale is going to be good. So nothing guys, let's wait, and as I have told you, tomorrow I'll upload another video and nothing. I hope my references are useful. With this video I want to explain my way of operating. I want you to see that you can make a living from reading. I'm going to upload real results. I'll also do live. I want you to see that it is totally live, that it is not at all falsified. I want you to see that it is possible, but it takes a great deal of perseverance and dedication. And nothing guys, I hope it goes well for you. I want to teach you. I want you to learn my strategy and nothing. See you in the next video.